People trusted her. Patients felt safe around her. But when the lights went low at night, something terrible began to happen. The same nurse who saved lives in the daytime was taking them when no one was watching. This is the story of a nurse everyone loved. She worked hard. She cared for people. She helped families feel safe. But deep inside her was a secret, a dark habit she hid behind her sweet smile. No one believed she could hurt anyone. Then patients started dying for no clear reason. At first, it looked like bad luck. But soon, the truth began to show. Someone inside the hospital was causing the deaths, and all eyes slowly turned to the one person no one suspected, the kind nurse. Stay with me, and don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share as we go deeper into this story. Grace walked into the hospital as the sun came up. The sky was soft and pink. The air was cool and quiet. Inside, the hospital was waking up. Lights blinked on. Machines beeped. Footsteps echoed in the halls. Grace smiled and said good morning to everyone. She knew almost every person by name. The guard at the door, the cleaner with the tired eyes, the woman at the front desk who always had a cold. "Morning, Grace," they said. "You're early again." Grace just smiled. "I like to see the day begin," she said. People trusted her. She walked with calm steps. Her white shoes made little soft sounds on the floor. Her hair was tied back neatly. Her badge shone on her chest. In one room, an old man struggled to breathe. His chest rose and fell slowly. He was scared. He didn't say it, but Grace could see it in his eyes. She took his hand. Her hands were warm. "It's okay," she whispered. "I'm here. You are not alone." She checked his tube. She checked his medicine. She pressed the right buttons on the machine. Soon his breathing slowed. His eyes closed in rest. "See," she said softly. "You're doing well." In another room, a woman who had just had surgery lay still. The woman's daughter stood by the bed, biting her lip. "Is my mom going to be okay?" the girl asked. Her voice shook. Grace nodded. "Yes, she needs time, but she's safe." The girl looked at her. "Do you ever get scared?" she whispered. Grace smiled. "Of course," she said. "Everyone gets scared. But when we are scared, we take small steps, one breath at a time." The girl nodded. She did not understand everything, but Grace's calm voice made her feel better. Doctors liked working with Grace. She was fast. She made no fuss. She kept the charts neat. She knew where every small thing was kept. "She's our star," one doctor said to another. "She keeps this place running." During the day, Grace was like a bright light. She laughed with the staff in the break room. She helped a new nurse find supplies. She carried extra blankets to cold patients. But there was something else too. A small, heavy feeling that sat inside her like a stone. When she stood by the windows and watched the street below, her face grew still. Her eyes looked far away, like she was watching something that nobody else could see. At lunch, others talked about movies and birthday plans. Grace listened, but sometimes her mind drifted to another hospital many years ago, to a bed where someone she loved had once lain, to long nights of crying and praying. The memory hurt, so she pushed it away. She put on her warm smile again. There were patients to check. There were charts to sign. There were lives to hold together with careful hands. By evening, visitors began to leave. The halls grew quieter. The sun sank, and the sky outside turned dark blue. One of the other nurses waved goodbye. "Long night again, Grace?" Grace nodded. "Yes, I'll stay." The night shift began. The bright daytime noise faded. Only soft beeps and low voices were left. Grace walked through the dim halls with her small flashlight. She checked on sleeping patients. She wrote notes in charts. She moved like a shadow that brought peace. Everyone believed that when Grace was on duty, the patients were safe. Safe in the day, safe at night. Yet, in one quiet corner of the hospital, a red light blinked on a screen. A record of something strange. A number that did not match the day before. A medicine count, just a little bit off. No one noticed it yet, but soon, people would. And when they did, they would remember one thing. Grace was always there. Day after day, night after night. And the nights were when people started to die. The first death did not shock anyone. The man was old. His heart was weak. The doctor said his body was tired. His family cried. Grace stood with them. She handed out tissues. She spoke in a soft, steady voice. He did not suffer, she said. He went very peacefully. The second death was harder to accept. It was a woman who had been getting better. In the daytime, she smiled. She ate her soup. She watched TV. She told Grace about her dogs at home. One evening, she told Grace, "I feel stronger today." Grace smiled. "That's good," she said. "Rest. I'll watch over you tonight." In the morning, the woman was gone. No sign of struggle, no loud alarms, just silence. The doctor frowned at the chart. She was stable, he said. She should not have gone like this. The staff looked at one another. They did not know what to say. Sometimes the body keeps secrets, they told themselves. Sometimes people leave without warning. Grace stood at the edge of the room. Her face was calm. She held the woman's hand for a moment, even though it was now cold. "I was here," she said quietly. "I checked on her. She looked like she was sleeping." No one blamed her. Why would they? She was the nurse who cared the most. But then there was a third death, and a fourth, and a fifth, all at night, all on her floor, all patients who had seemed a little better the day before. Whispers began in the staff room. Is it the new medicine? Is there something wrong with the air? Is there a sickness we missed? Charts were checked again and again. Doctors had long talks behind closed doors. The hospital director walked the halls with tight lips. Grace heard the whispers too. She kept her head down. She did her work. She spoke kindly to everyone. Inside, she felt a strange mix of feelings. Sadness, fear, but also something else she did not want to name. A heavy calm. At night, when the hall was almost empty, she would stand by certain doors. She would listen to the slow breathing of the people inside. Some of them moaned in pain. Some of them cried softly. Some of them stared at the ceiling, wishing it would all end. Grace knew this sound well. She had heard it years ago. In that other hospital, from that other bed, her mother's voice sounded like that. Weak, tired, begging with her eyes for the hurting to stop. Back then, no one came to help. The doctors said, "We are doing our best." The nurses said, "We can't do more." Her mother suffered for a long time. Too long. Now Grace stood on the other side. She was the one with the keys to the medicine room. She was the one with the power to ease pain. The thought sat in her chest like fire. She told herself she wanted to help. She told herself she wanted to be kind. Little by little, a line inside her began to blur. The line between easing pain and ending it. One night, a junior nurse looked at the records. She noticed something odd. "Why are these medicine bottles always low after Grace's shift?" she asked. Another nurse shrugged. "Because she works the hardest," she said. "She uses more. She is always helping someone." The answer seemed to fit. No one asked more questions. But the numbers in the computer did not lie. Small changes, tiny extra doses, taken only at night. And every time a number dropped, a patient's story ended. The hospital tried to move on. Families needed comfort. Paperwork needed to be filed. Life in the building had to go on. Still, a quiet fear grew in the corners. Staff began to look over their shoulders. Some nurses asked to change floors. Some did not like working nights anymore. Only Grace stayed, night after night. Her face is gentle. Her hands are steady. To everyone else, she was still the kind nurse who saved lives by day. No one could see what she did with the dark. Dr. Lucas arrived on a rainy morning. He was young, but not too young. His eyes were sharp. He noticed things. He had heard a small rumor before he came. "Strange deaths on that floor," another doctor had said. "Probably nothing. Just bad cases." But Lucas did not like probably. He liked clear answers. On his first day, he met Grace at the nurse's station. She smiled at him. "Welcome," she said. "We don't bite here." He laughed. "Good to know," he replied. She showed him where things were kept. He watched how the other nurses listened when she spoke. He saw how patients relaxed when she walked into a room. "She's the heart of this place," the head nurse told him. "We'd be lost without her." Lucas nodded. But he also pulled up the patient records from the last few months. He sat at a computer during his break and scrolled. Names, dates, times of death. He saw something that made his stomach tighten. So many deaths between midnight and dawn. Too many. He pressed his lips together. Then he checked which nurse had been on duty each time. The same name kept appearing. Grace. It could still be nothing. He knew that. Sick people often got worse at night. That was common. But the numbers, the pattern, the dates, they all joined together in his mind like pieces of a puzzle. He decided to watch more. Quietly. During the day, he followed Grace on her rounds. He saw her lift patients gently. He saw her speak to a crying boy. She wiped his tears and told him a silly joke. He laughed through the pain. Nothing about her seemed wrong. She even noticed things before he did. A change in a patient's color, a small shake in their hands, a strange sound in their breath. At lunch, he asked her, "How long have you worked here?" "Almost 10 years, she said. "I started on another floor, then moved here." "Why this floor?" he asked. She stirred her tea. "People here are very sick," she said. "They need someone to stay calm beside them. I'm good at that." He believed her, but the records stayed in his mind. One evening, Lucas walked past the family waiting room. A man sat alone, staring at the wall. He was the son of a woman who had died the week before. Lucas sat beside him. "I'm sorry about your mother," he said. The man nodded. "Everyone keeps saying it was her time," he whispered. "But she was talking to me that afternoon. She said she felt hopeful." He looked up at Lucas. Can someone really just stop like that? Just from one night to the next? Lucas had no answer he felt good about. He put a hand on the man's shoulder. "I promise you," he said. "We will look closely at everything." Later that night, Lucas stood at the nurse's station. Grace was starting her night shift. "Long night?" he asked. She smiled. "Aren't they all?" she replied. He watched her log into the medicine system. Her fingers moved with easy speed. "Do you ever feel it's too heavy?" he asked. "All the sickness, all the loss." Her hands paused for a second. Then she kept typing. "Sometimes," she said. "But I tell myself I'm here for a reason. To make things softer for people, even when we can't fix everything." The words sounded kind, but there was a shadow behind them that Lucas could not name. He went home that night and could not sleep. He kept seeing the numbers on the screen. He kept seeing families crying. The next day, he went to the hospital director. "I think we need a closer look at the night deaths on that floor," he said. The director frowned. "Are you accusing someone?" "No," Lucas said. "Not yet. I just think something is wrong. It could be the medicine. It could be a mistake in the system. But we have to be sure." The director sighed. "Fine," he said. "I'll ask for a review. But be careful, doctor. This staff is tired. They do not need to feel hunted." Lucas nodded. He did not want to hurt anyone. He just wanted to know the truth. Outside the office, Grace walked by, carrying a bundle of clean sheets. She gave him her usual warm smile. For a moment, he almost forgot his worry. She looked so kind, so safe, but the numbers would not let go of his mind. And somewhere inside Grace, the stone in her chest grew heavier. She could feel eyes starting to turn her way. Slowly, carefully, like someone reaching for a door they were afraid to open. The rain hit the hospital windows like soft fingers. It was after midnight. Most lights were low. Most people were asleep. Grace walked down the hall with her small flashlight. The floor was quiet. Her shoes made gentle sounds on the tiles. She stopped at room 12. Inside was Mr. Henry. He was not old, but he was very sick. His lungs were weak. Every breath sounded like it hurt. Grace opened the door slowly. Mr. Henry lay on his back, eyes half open. He saw her and tried to smile. It looked painful. "It hurts," he whispered. "I can't sleep. I feel like I'm drowning." Grace checked his chart. She checked his drip. She checked the machine by his bed. "You had your medicine an hour ago," she said softly. "I can't give you more yet." He shut his eyes tight. A tear rolled down his cheek. "Please," he gasped. "I can't do this. I don't want to wake up like this again." Grace froze. The words hit her like a memory. Her mother had said almost the same thing. Same weak voice. Same wet eyes. Same bed. "Please," her mother had whispered. "I can't live with this pain. I wish someone would just stop it." Back then, Grace had been powerless. Just a daughter holding a hand. No badge. No keys. No access to any machine. Now she had all of that. She had the keys on her belt. She had the code for the medicine cabinet. She had the trust of everyone around her. She sat down on the edge of Mr. Henry's bed. She took his hand. It was shaking. "Are you scared?" she asked. He gave a small nod. His lips trembled. "I'm tired," he said. "Every day, the same pain. I don't think I can keep fighting." Grace felt the stone in her chest grow hotter. She looked at the door. The hall was empty. The cameras in this wing were old and weak. Everyone knew they did not see every corner. She thought of what a good nurse should do. Call the doctor, offer soft words, give only the allowed dose. But she also thought of her mother's face, of how the doctors had said, "We must follow the rules," while her mother cried. Grace stood and walked out of the room. Her hands shook as she walked to the medicine room. She opened the door with her key. The shelves were lined with clear bottles and small glass vials. She knew what each one did. She knew what too much could do as well. Her heart beat fast. "This is mercy," she told herself. "This is kindness. No more drowning. No more fear." She took a small vial and held it in her hand. Her thumb ran over the label. Her mind screamed to stop, but the stone in her chest said, "He asked you. He begged you." She walked back to room 12. The hall is still silent. The rain is still tapping on the windows. Inside, Mr. Henry's breathing was worse. Every breath sounded like a broken whistle. Grace closed the door behind her. She moved with the sharp, smooth speed of someone who had done this 1,000 times in her mind. She slipped the extra dose into his line. Small, quick, almost gentle. Mr. Henry's eyes opened wide for a moment. Then his face relaxed. His breathing slowed. His shoulders dropped. "Thank you," he whispered. Then he went very still. Grace watched his chest. Up, down, then no more. She waited for the alarm. It did not go off right away. The machine took its time, just like it always did. Grace reached out and touched his forehead. "I didn't want you to hurt anymore," she whispered. "I did this for you." When the monitor finally began to beep, she called for help. Her voice sounded shocked. Her hands moved fast, pressing buttons, starting the steps everyone expected. The team rushed in. They tried to bring him back, but it was too late. The doctor sighed. "He was very sick," he said. "His body was near its end." Everyone believed it. They wrote the time of death. They spoke quiet words of comfort. Only Grace knew the truth. She walked out of the room with calm steps, but inside, something had changed. The line she had promised never to cross was gone now. And once a line is gone, it is very hard to find it again. The next week, the hospital felt heavier. People walked a little slower. Voices stayed low, even in the break room. There were more deaths. Not every night, but enough to leave a mark. Each time, the pattern was similar. A patient who seemed a little better. A quiet night. No big alarm. A still body by morning. In the office near the end of the hall, the pharmacist sat at her computer. She checked the medicine counts for the month. Her screen filled with numbers, dates, and names. She rubbed her eyes. Something did not feel right. Too many small extra amounts missing. Not huge. Not wild. Just little sips from many bottles. She checked again. Same result. She printed the list and took it to the hospital director. "These numbers are off," she said. "Most changes are on the night shift. Most are on the same floor." The director frowned. "Maybe it's recording badly," he said. "Maybe the system is old." "Maybe," the pharmacist said. "But we cannot ignore this." The director nodded. "I'll speak to Dr. Lucas," he said. That same afternoon, Grace sat in the staff room with her friend, Anita, another nurse. They shared a small table by the window. 2 cups of tea were steamed between them. "You look tired," Anita said. "You're working too many nights." Grace gave a small smile. "Nights are quieter," she said. "People need calm faces in the dark." Anita looked at her. "You don't have to carry everyone," she said softly. "The world will not fall apart if you take a break." Grace's smile shook a little. "I know," she said. But she did not really believe it. Anita leaned closer. "People are talking, you know," she whispered. "About all the deaths." Grace's stomach tightened. "What are they saying?" "Some say it's the new medicine," Anita replied. "Some say it's bad luck. Some are scared of the night now. She looked at Grace. I know you. I know your heart. If anyone says anything about you, I'll fight them. Grace felt a strange mix of warmth and fear. She wanted to tell Anita everything. She wanted to say, I only wanted to stop the pain. But the words stayed locked in her throat. If she opened that door, nothing would ever be the same. Later, the director called Lucas into his office and showed him the printed list. Lucas read it slowly, line by line. It matches the deaths, he said quietly. Almost every time, the medicine use jumps at night before someone dies. The director swallowed. And the nurse on duty? Lucas hesitated. He did not want to say it, but the name was everywhere. Grace, he said. His voice was flat. It's almost always Grace. The director leaned back in his chair. His face was pale. That can't be right, he said. She is our best nurse. Lucas tapped the paper. The numbers don't care who is best, he said. They just show what happened. The director looked at him with tired eyes. What do you suggest? We watch, Lucas said. Not just the patients, not just the machines. We watch the people. That evening, there was a meeting in a small side room. Only a few people were there. The director, Lucas, the pharmacist, the head nurse. They closed the door. They spoke in low voices. We can't make wild claims, the head nurse said. If we accuse the wrong person, we could ruin a good life. If we say nothing, Lucas replied, more people may die. In the hall outside that room, Grace walked past carrying clean sheets. She saw the closed door. She heard nothing, but she felt the weight of it. She knew, deep down, that something was coming. That night, when she looked in the bathroom mirror before her shift, her face looked different. The smile was still there, but it looked like it was painted on. Her eyes looked older, tired, haunted. A small voice in her mind whispered, you could stop now. You could never do it again. Another voice answered, what about the ones still hurting? What about the ones who beg you in the dark? Grace turned off the bathroom light. She walked back into the hall. The night waited for her, soft and silent, ready to hide whatever she chose to do. The families did not stay quiet. They were sad. They were angry. They wanted answers. One man, whose wife had died after a good day, went to the police. My wife was getting better, he said. She was talking normally, eating, laughing with our children. Then one night, she was gone. No clear reason, no warning. The police listened. They had heard of this hospital. They had heard small whispers of too many deaths on one floor. So they sent a detective. His name was Detective Mara. He wore a simple suit. He did not smile much. His eyes were calm but very sharp. He came to the hospital one morning and spoke to the director. I'm not here to cause panic, he said. I just want to understand what has been happening. The director nodded. His hands shook slightly. We want the same thing, he said. Detective Mara sat with Lucas in a small office. They spread out the charts, names, dates, times, medicine records. See this pattern? Lucas said. Night deaths. Same floor. Same nurse on duty many times. Medicine counts dipping at strange hours. Mara looked at the papers and said nothing for a long time. Then he asked, tell me about this nurse. What is she like? She's kind, Lucas said at once. Smart, calm. The families love her. The staff trust her. Mara raised an eyebrow. And you? Lucas hesitated. I liked her from the start, he said. But now, I'm not sure what to think. They called Grace in for a talk. She sat in a plain chair across from the detective. Her hands were folded in her lap. She looked neat, still, careful. Thank you for meeting with me, Mara began. My job is to look into the recent deaths here. Grace nodded. I understand, she said. Anything I can do to help, I will. He asked simple questions first. How long she had worked there, her usual shifts, her training. She answered smoothly. Her voice did not shake. Then he asked, some of the patients who died were said to be feeling a bit better. Did you notice that? Yes, Grace said. Sometimes people seem better before they get worse. The body is strange. It can trick us. Mara watched her face. Do you remember their last nights? He asked. She looked down at her hands. I remember many nights, she said softly. I remember pain, I remember people begging for more medicine, for sleep, for an end to hurting. He leaned forward. And what did you do when they begged? She lifted her eyes to his. I did my job, she said. I gave what I was allowed. I sat with them. I talked to them. I held their hands. Never more than allowed? He asked. There was a tiny pause, very small, barely a breath. No, she said. The word floated in the air between them. Light, thin, almost fragile. Mara noticed the pause. He did not show it on his face. After she left, Lucas let out a long breath. She seems honest, he said. She always has. Mara looked at the door she had walked through. She is either very honest, he said quietly, or very, very good at lying. Over the next days, he spoke with other nurses. Anita said, Grace is the best of us. If there is a problem here, it is not her. A junior nurse said, she is strict about rules. Except, sometimes, she goes into the medicine room alone at night, but so do others. The pharmacist said, the logins for the medicine system show Grace's name at many odd hours. Mara asked, can someone else use her login? She nodded. In theory, yes, she said. But most nurses protect their passwords. Mara walked the halls at night with Lucas. They watched Grace from a distance. She did nothing wrong. She checked every tube. She comforted every patient. She wrote in every chart. She looks like a hero, Mara said. Lucas replied, heroes are still human. In the dark stairwell later, Mara stood alone and listened to the sounds of the hospital. Beeping machines, soft footsteps, a far-off cough. If Grace was doing something terrible, she was hiding it very well. If she was not, then someone else was using her shadow to hide in. Both thoughts were bad. Both thoughts made his skin crawl. The hospital agreed to a quiet test. They did not want the staff to panic. They did not want the families to run away. So they upgraded a few small cameras on the problem floor. Not all of them, just enough to see more clearly in certain halls. They also put a better camera in one patient's room, room 18. In that bed lay a man named Daniel. He had a heart problem, but he was stable. He could sit up and talk. He liked to watch sports on TV. Lucas chose this room because Daniel was sick, but not on the edge. He wanted to see what happened in a normal night. Grace was on duty again. She saw the new camera in the corner of the room. She tilted her head. When did they put that in? She asked. Today, Lucas said. We're trying to improve safety on the floor. Daniel laughed. So I'm the test rat? He joked. Grace smiled. You're the star, she said. That night, the halls were quieter than usual. The staff moved with care, knowing, even if they were not told, that something important was going on. Grace made her rounds. She checked on Daniel several times. He joked with her. He did not seem afraid. You'll watch me, right? He said. You're the famous Grace everyone talks about. She rolled her eyes. Famous? She said. I'm just the one who likes the night. Around 2 a.m., the floor was very still. Most patients were asleep. A light drizzle tapped on the windows. Grace walked by room 18. She looked in. Daniel was half asleep, his TV on low, a soft glow moving across his face. She stepped inside, checked his drip, adjusted his pillow. Pain? She asked. Not really, he mumbled. Just tired. Good, she said. Try to rest. I'm here. She left the room. The camera watched her go. About 30 minutes later, the monitor by Daniel's bed suddenly beeped faster. His heart rate jumped, then began to drop. In the control room, a tech who had been half bored sat up straight. He stared at the screen. Something's wrong in 18, he said into his radio. On the camera, Daniel's body jerked once. His hand reached toward the call button, but then fell back. The tech watched as the door slowly opened. Grace stepped in. Her face looked calm at first. Then she saw the monitor. Her eyes widened. She rushed to the bed. Her hands flew into action. She pressed the emergency button. She checked his airway. She began the steps she had done so many times. On the recording, it looked like she was trying to save him. Doctors rushed in. The room filled with people, with noise, with fast breathing and quick commands. But in the end, Daniel's heart would not come back. Time of death was called. Later, the director, Lucas, Detective Mara, and the tech sat in a dark room, watching the recording on a larger screen. They watched the first visit. Nothing strange. They watched the second moment. When Daniel began to fail. Pause, Mara said. The tech stopped the video. Go back 10 seconds, Mara said. Slow it down. They watched again, frame by frame. In one frame, for just a fraction of a second, there was a shape at the edge of the screen. A shadow near the door. Not inside the room, but just outside. Then it was gone. Can you clear that up? Lucas asked. The tech tried. Zoomed in, smoothed the image. But the shape stayed blurry. A hint of a shoulder, part of a sleeve. No face, no clear body. Could that be Grace? The director asked. The tech shook his head. No, she comes in after. This is just before his heart jumps. Another nurse? Lucas asked. No one signed into the system at that moment, the tech said. And no one wrote in the log that they checked on him then. So someone stood at the door, Mara said slowly. Before Daniel crashed. Someone who did not want to be seen. They watched the rest. Grace rushing in, trying to help. If she did something to him, Lucas said quietly. Why does the video show her reacting in surprise? Mara did not answer right away. He felt the story twisting again in his hands. Either Grace was very skilled at pretending, or someone else was moving in the dark, using her shifts as cover. We are getting closer, he said at last. But the closer we get, the less clear it seems. The next few days felt like walking through fog. Rumors spread. Police are watching the floor. There's a camera in one of the rooms. Someone saw the detective talking to Grace. The air was thick with fear. People lowered their voices when Grace walked by. Some stopped talking at all. Anita found Grace in the break room one afternoon. Grace sat alone, staring at her untouched tea. You're scaring people, Anita said gently. Grace looked up, confused. Me? They think the police are here because of you, Anita whispered. They think you did something. Grace's face crumpled for a second, then straightened. I did my job, she said. Her voice was tight. I cared for people. I stayed when everyone else wanted to go home. Anita reached for her hand. I know, she said. But tell me the truth. Is there anything? Anything at all? You haven't told them? Grace pulled her hand away. Her chest hurt. Her head spun. Images flashed in her mind. Her mother's face. Mr. Henry's whisper. The cold stillness after the extra dose. I'm tired, she said. I just need sleep. That evening, Mara asked Grace to meet again. This time, Lucas was there, too. They sat in the same small office. The light hummed overhead. The air felt thick. Mara placed a small device on the table. We're recording this, he said. For everyone's safety. Grace nodded. Her hands twisted in her lap. Grace, Mara began. We watched the video from room 18. We saw you rush in and try to save Daniel. We also saw a shadow at the door before he crashed. She frowned. A shadow? Yes, Lucas said quietly. It was not clear who it was, but someone was there. Grace shook her head. I didn't see anyone, she said. I was doing my rounds. I came when I heard the alarm. Mara watched her closely. Have you ever given more medicine than the chart allowed? He asked. Her shoulders stiffened. I follow the rules, she said. Every time? He asked. The stone in her chest felt like it was breaking. Her throat burned. People are in so much pain, she whispered. Sometimes the allowed amount does not touch it. Sometimes they beg. Lucas leaned forward. Grace, he said softly, we are not asking to punish you. We are asking to protect people. Tell us if you ever gave more. Tears filled her eyes. She looked at the ceiling. She looked at the floor. She did not look at their faces. Yes, she said finally. Her voice was very small. I did. Sometimes. A little more. To help them sleep. To stop the shaking. How many times? Mara asked. I don't know, she said. Not all the time. Only when they were really begging. Mara's jaw tightened. Do you understand that too much can stop a heart? She nodded slowly. Yes, she whispered. But I never wanted them to die. I wanted them to rest. I wanted them to have one night without fear. Lucas felt his stomach twist. He had liked her. He had trusted her. Now he heard the words, and could not fit them into the picture he had of her. "So you broke the rules," Mara said. "On purpose. Even if you meant it as kindness, you knew the risk." Grace wiped her eyes. "I thought if I was careful, it would be okay," she said. "I thought I could balance it." Mara looked at Lucas, then back at Grace. "Until we know more," he said slowly, "I have to ask the hospital to remove you from duty." Grace's breath caught. "Remove me? You will not work with patients," he said. "You may be charged later. We need to review all the charts. All the deaths." The words hit her like a door slamming shut. For 10 years, the hospital had been her world. The halls, the beds, the soft beep of machines, the warm hands she held in the dark. Now, all at once, she was being pushed out. As she left the room, she passed Anita in the hall. Their eyes met. Anita saw the pain on her face, the red in her eyes. "What happened?" Anita whispered. "They're taking my badge," Grace said. Her voice was flat. "They think I'm the reason people died." Anita reached out to touch her arm, but Grace stepped back. "I only wanted to help," she whispered. Then she walked away, her shoes loud on the floor for the first time. The story did not stay inside the hospital. It slipped out into the city, then into the news. Nurse under suspicion after series of night deaths. Did a kind caregiver cross the line? People argued online. Some said she was a monster. Some said she was a hero who went too far. Some said the hospital was to blame. Grace was charged with several counts of wrongful death. They said she gave too much medicine. They said she knew the risk. In court, she wore simple clothes. No badge, no nurse shoes. Her hands were empty. The family sat in the seats behind the lawyers. Some glared at her. Some just cried quietly. Lucas was called to speak. He told the court what he saw, the patterns, the numbers, the extra doses she had admitted. "Do you believe she meant to kill?" the lawyer asked him. Lucas hesitated. He thought of her soft voice, her steady hands, Mr. Henry's file, Daniel's video. "I believe she wanted to stop pain," he said slowly. "But I also believe she knew she might stop more than that." Mara spoke, too. He told them about the interviews, about her small pause before saying no, about her final yes. "Did she confess to wanting to kill?" the lawyer asked. "No," Mara said. "She said she wanted to help. But the law cares about actions, not just wishes." Grace's lawyer tried to show another side. He talked about her mother, the long suffering, the feeling of helplessness. She was trying to make sure no one else suffered like that, he said. Her heart was broken and twisted by grief. The jury listened. They looked at Grace. They looked at the families. They looked at the thick stack of charts. One thing bothered Mara, even as the trial went on. Not all the deaths fit the pattern. Some happened on nights when Grace was not on duty. Some had medicine counts that made no sense. Even with her extra doses, he had found proof that someone else had used her login once. A strange access at 3:07 a.m. On a night she was off the floor, helping in the emergency room downstairs. He brought this to the court. "The system shows her name," he said, "but her body was in another part of the building." "Maybe the record is wrong," the prosecutor said. "The system can make mistakes. Or someone else used her password," Mara replied. "Can you prove that?" "No," he said, "not fully." The judge allowed the jury to hear this, but it did not change the main story. Grace had said she gave extra doses. People had died. After long hours, the jury returned. They found her guilty of causing several deaths by giving too much medicine. They found her not guilty in other deaths where proof was weak. The judge gave her many years in prison. Before she was taken away, the families were allowed to speak. One woman stood up. Her voice shook. "You held my mother's hand," she said to Grace. "You told me she was peaceful. I don't know if you helped her or hurt her. I don't know if I should thank you or hate you. And that is the worst part." Grace's eyes filled with tears. "I am sorry," she whispered. "I am sorry for every tear. For every night you wondered what happened. I wanted to take pain away. I did not know how much pain I would create." As the guards led her out, she looked back at Lucas and Mara. "Someone else was there," she said softly. "In the shadows. You know that, don't you?" Mara's jaw tightened. He thought of the blurry shape at the door. Yes, he said in his mind. Out loud, he said nothing. Years passed. The hospital changed. New paint, new machines, new rules for night shifts. No nurse worked alone anymore. 2 people checked each dose. Cameras were updated. Passwords were changed often. People still spoke about Grace in quiet tones. Some said she was evil. Others said she was broken. Most said, I don't want to think about it. In a small prison far from the city, Grace woke up every day to the same gray walls. She works in the prison clinic now, handing out simple pills, checking bandages, taking blood pressure. She followed every rule. Never 1 pill more, never 1 second late on a report. At night, when the lights went out and the cell block was quiet, she lay on her small bed and stared at the ceiling. She counted names in her head. The people she had helped in the hospital, the people she had lost, the people she might have pushed too close to the edge. Am I a monster? She would whisper into the dark. Some nights, she thought, yes. Other nights, she thought of Mr. Henry's relief and her mother's long suffering, and she did not know what to think at all. One rainy afternoon, Detective Mara sat in his car outside a different hospital, in another part of the country. He held a thin folder in his hands. Inside were reports from this new place. Night deaths, stable patients gone by morning, medicine counts off, by small, almost invisible amounts. He flipped through the pages. The pattern felt too familiar. He had followed a story on the news. Another hospital, another floor, another group of families asking, how did this happen? In one report, there was a grainy picture taken from an old camera, a hall at night, a shadow by a door. Not the same building, not the same staff, but the same feeling. He remembered the video from room 18, the blurred shape outside the door, just before Daniel's heart failed. He remembered the 3:07 a.m. login under Grace's name. When she was somewhere else, he had never found who did that. The hospital had moved on after the trial. They had their answer, a nurse who gave too much. But Mara's mind never let go. Was Grace the whole story? Or was she the most visible part of something bigger, something that liked to hide behind kind faces, old machines, and busy halls? Lucas joined him in the car. He had transferred to this new hospital a year ago. He looked older now, more lines on his face, less light in his eyes. You see it too, don't you? Mara asked quietly. Lucas nodded. I wish I didn't, he said. But the pattern is there. Do you think Grace was the only one? Mara asked. Lucas looked out at the rain. I think she did harm, he said. I think she crossed a line. But I also think she was convenient. Once they had her, everyone stopped looking for anyone else. They sat in silence for a long moment. Inside the hospital, a nurse walked down the hall with calm steps. Her shoes made soft sounds on the floor. Her badge shone on her chest. She stopped by a door, listened to the breathing inside, then moved on. Mara watched through the windshield. From this distance, all nurses looked the same. Soft shoes, careful hands, tired eyes. Do you think it's happening again? Lucas asked. I think, Mara said slowly, that as long as there are dark halls, overworked staff, broken hearts, and people in pain who beg for it to end, this kind of story can happen anywhere. He closed the folder. Far away, in her prison cell, Grace sat on her bed and pressed her hand to her chest. For no clear reason, her heart beat faster. She closed her eyes and saw a hallway. Not her old one, a different one. And in that hallway, she saw a shape by a door, a shadow that could be anyone. She whispered into the quiet, Please, whoever you are, don't do what I did. Don't tell yourself that mercy looks like this. But shadows do not listen. Back in the car, Mara started the engine. This time, he said to Lucas, we don't start with trust. We start with questions. The rain kept falling. The hospital lights glowed in the gray. And somewhere inside, between the beep of a monitor and the click of a medicine drawer, another story was just beginning. Thank you for watching to the end. If you enjoyed this, subscribe to my channel, like the video, share it with someone, and drop a comment. Your support helps me make more stories like this.